Hi guys and welcome to the latest iiWi review video. Now what we have here today is $100 in-ears from a new brand called Cat Ear Audio. And the model itself is called Mia, I think. And let's first start with the box itself and what do you have inside actually. And there's two sets of ear tips. The white ones that I'm using, and the black ones. They're slightly different. They have slightly different fit. I prefer the white ones. They secure better fit for my ears. Yeah, that's why I'm using them. But anyway, great to have options. Beside that, there's a carrying pouch. It looks like a leather case, but I think this is like fake leather. And it has nice magnetic button here. So let's move to these in-ears themselves, and I'll start with the build and some features. These are very small in-ears, as you can see. It's sort of a bullet type, and I like that. For some occasions these are really practical, and they don't take much space. They're easy to put and remove from your ear, and they use only one dynamic driver, each of these, which is something that's becoming rare on the market, with everybody throwing as much drivers as they possibly can at you, because it's also good for marketing, you know. But talking about marketing, there's something they did here too. They boast that these are cryogenically, I hope I pronounced that right, treated, means they have been frozen on a temperature of minus 196 degrees Celsius for 72 hours. Now, what that really does to headphones, they said it's been done on earphones themselves, drivers, cable too. Does that actually helps anything? I don't really know. A lot of cable manufacturers claim this improves sound quality. I don't know. I cannot claim is that real or is it just a marketing BS thing. But here you go. It's one of the features of Cat Ear Mia. Now the cable is of a twisted kind. It's very soft, which means, first of all, it's not microphonic. Second, it tangles very easily. And just before I started this review, I spent few minutes just untangling the cable. But the good thing is this is MMCX detachable one, so you can actually exchange it for anything you like, including balanced cables that are becoming more and more popular these days. And the last part in this section is fit itself. This is a really old school design, and I think this small bullet type fits almost everybody, given that you have suitable ear tips, of course. For example, I said the white ones are great for me, the black ones doesn't keep their fit very well. But yeah, just experiment a little bit with ear tips and I'm almost sure that you'll find a secure fit with these. Now that we're finished with these necessities, let's talk about the real thing, and that's the sound quality. And the first thing I wanted to say about that is the sensitivity of these. It's 105 decibels, I think, that's right, per milliwatt. And that means they're not really insensitive or difficult to drive, but they're also not the most sensitive in-ears, especially for in-ears standards. So don't expect to pair them with any smartphone, maybe with low power output, and get like rock concert level loudness out of these. If you listen only to new production, to louder recordings, they will sound loud enough basically with everything. But if you're a little bit into older recordings, some acoustic recording that have much lower average volume level, then you should really pair them with some sort of DAC amp. And in my case, even this is Sonata HD. It can be found produced by Hidis, like this one, or Tempotech. So it's called Sonata HD. It costs only $25, and it's already giving enough juice, dynamics, and just details to these to enjoy them properly. If I use something more powerful, like Earman Sparrow here, I noticed improvements in overall dynamics and details a little bit. But given the really high price of this one, this is $200 dongle, I'd say that you already hit a soft limit. It is better than this one, but not nearly as much as it costs. So just pair them with some decent entry-level back amp, and I think you'll be able to hear the best of them, or at least like 90-95% of what these can offer. And when you do that, what you'll hear, so let's start with the bass line. It is weighty and it has decent amount of oomph in it, and I like that. It's also slightly warm, I would say, and in this case, when I say warm, I think it's not really the one to dig a lot of texture. It's not the one to give you the best possible control, you know, the like really nimble, fast, precisely hitting bass notes. It's just on a warmer, more relaxed, like musical kind of things. But good thing is not too bloated, is not really overwhelming. It just has a little bit of bloom going on, something like that. And that gives everything like a warmer and mellower touch regarding bassline. Now moving up to the mid-range, there's some sort of U-shaped or V-shaped thing going on here, and you can also see that this is a really small graph, so I'll put the bigger one on the screen, but you can see there is a slight dip in the lower mid-range, and there is a hike in higher mid-range part. And this actually influenced the sound character of Mia's. Vocals and all instruments basically have a lot of details and they have a lot of presence. They feel nicely presented, nicely focused and forward sounding. That's coming from that slightly elevated upper mid-range, but they lack a little bit of tone richness and body. But I have to say here, it's not really that much. And why do I have to emphasize it's not that much? Because a lot of in-ears on the market nowadays, especially the ones coming from Chinese brands, such as KZ, for example, they have really strongly pronounced U-shape, V-shape, however you call it. And they sometimes have like really strong depletion of that lower mid-range, like reading vocals and instruments from all of the body and richness and just leaving them dry and analytical. It's not the case here. It is tuned that way, but in a much more softer fashion. And the emphasis in the upper mid-range is actually located somewhere around 4 or 5 kilohertz. When you go to 7, 8, 10, where a lot of in-ears usually have peaks, these one don't. And what this means is that they are a little bit brighter in the mid-range, but they never sound sharp. They never sound harsh or clawy or analytical, things like that. And if anything, I can say that they sound pretty smooth and they're tuned pretty maturely. In that regards, I think these remind me on Moondrop Starfield quite a bit. Now I don't have these currently with me, so I couldn't compare them directly, but the overall sound signature, the overall smoothness and nice transition from bass region to mid-range to highest frequencies reminds me on Moondrop Starfield, and I really liked those. Maybe you already watched my reviews about them. Next, the soundstage is also quite decent. It's very reasonably wide for in-ears of this price, and layering is also decent. Separation of instruments is done right, everything has its own space, it's not cluttered, and that's just on the level you'd expect from in-ears costing this much, I suppose. So to sum it up again very quickly, we have this sort of warm and slightly bloomy bass that's giving the warm character to the lower part of the spectrum. But then we have this slight emphasis on higher mid-range that gives presence and sort of brightness and sparkliness to the sound, but it's never sharp, it's never too analytical or intrusive. This is completely opposite from clawy, aggressive sounding in-ears, and as I said, it reminds me a lot on Moondrop Starfields, but with warmer bassline. Maybe even like a more present, bigger, warmer bassline. I think really for their price, they're offering really decent sound quality. It's just a matter of, do you like this sound signature? And that means very mild approach to V-shaped signature, warm bass, present, slightly brighter mids, detailed, but again, like sweet sounding highs that are never intrusive. And I think I'd slightly prefer these over Starfields. I'm not completely sure about that. I would have to compare them directly, but I actually think that if I had a chance to do that, if I had a purchasing limit, $100, I cannot use more expensive in-ears, I'd probably keep these ones. Now that would be all for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and if you liked this video, please click like and subscribe and share it with your friends, because that would really help this channel grow and bring even more interesting reviews. See you next time.